I'd like to welcome everyone this evening to the Richmond Planning and Zoning meeting. Tyler, you call the roll, please.
Sure. Commissioner Shue?
Here.
Commissioner Short?
Here.
Commissioner Francis?
Here.
Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Perkins?
Here.
Commissioner Miles?
Here.
Commissioner Estelle?
Here. If everyone's had a chance to approve the October 10th, 2024 meeting minutes, I'll get a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Shue?
Yes.
Commissioner Short?
Yes.
Commissioner Francis?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Miles?
Yes.
Commissioner Estelle?
Abstain. Next on the agenda is the Merchant Drive construction guarantee. Someone for that?
Kevin?
He's got it.
Afternoon.
How you doing?
Paul Frazier. I was here to discuss the sidewalks on Merchant Drive, and I'd met with Kevin Causey and the code enforcement officers, and we were discussing about how to get started on it because, you know, we've got a bond out there, and what I was telling Kevin was, like, out there right now where Domino's is being built, and then you got Popeyes next to Domino's. You've seen all that equipment and stuff out there. So they're using each lot next to them as a lay lot for all their materials and stuff. So as quick as Domino's and Popeyes gets done, which looks like it's going to be on the other side of this winter, we'll connect those two lots. There's only two lots left there. And then we'll connect the lot. We'll probably start on the lot between Toyota and the bank and do it first because I don't have a contract on it or anything, and we can get started on that one. And then that will tie all that right-hand side, all the sidewalks will be done on the right-hand side. And then on the left-hand side, we'll start where the school left off and then come down the left-hand side. Is that right, Kevin?
Where you're at right now, Paul, would be right there,
Yes, sir.
traveling down
Coles.
this side.
Mhm.
So initially, Paul was saying, we have Popeyes that roughly sits here and Domino's. So he would make a sidewalk connection once their sidewalks are in, finish off up to Linder's Lane and this little piece here, then jump up here.
I'd say, Kevin, that's where we'll start, right there.
Right. We're gonna start on the right side, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you would start here, Paul?
Yes, sir, because I don't have anything, I don't have a contract or anything on that lot.
Okay. So this would be the initiation of the project for sidewalks to be here, while these two developments are under construction. Once they are completed and their sidewalks are installed, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, you would then connect to those.
Yes, sir.
And then the one down here.
Yeah, because they're renting those lots off me right now to put all the materials on, and there's no use me getting on there trying to do anything. I'd just be in the way, so. And another thing too, you know, when we did where Popeyes and Domino's is, KU said, now don't put that electric up through there because, you know, that was just one big lot. We didn't have it lotted off and they didn't know where to put the electric boxes, so, and that electric about lays under where the sidewalk is, so I've got to get the electric. I've got electric to Domino's and Popeyes, but I'll have to move it a little bit on those other lots because they told me not to lay it until they knew where a building was going to go. So that's the reason why I never did put the sidewalk in.
Kevin,
But I have addressed,
why is this in front of us? What are we voting on?
This
It's a
is
construction guarantee, it says, but it doesn't look like it's a construction guarantee.
What Paul is doing is he has a subdivision that is overdue. He is one of those 13 in the past that we have discussed. Paul's come forward, we've sent out letters for any overdue letter of credit pertaining to commercial or residential development that is not completed within 2 years. Okay, so we're getting response now from developers like Paul and others that we'll see on down. So what Paul is here today for is to establish what would be acceptable, a time frame. Also, you'll see this sort of mimicked on down in the agenda as we move forward. But Paul has a unique situation in that we have construction going on. There is a respectable question in how long does he have, what could be granted to be an acceptable time frame to complete the project. The project being the completion of sidewalks. That is all that is left. So what's unique here is we're segmented. There's pieces missing. So Paul is providing what he believes to be his approach. What we would need to hammer out would be a time frame a little later here. But he's going to start here and connect sidewalks in relationship to satisfying his letter of credit requirements. Once this construction is done, he would then connect these sidewalks here and here first.
Yeah.
That would be your first initial commencement of putting these sidewalks in. Once that's done, I think if I'm hearing correct, we have reached the cold months or into the first part of next year. Would that be
Yes, sir.
correct? At that point in time, Mr. Frazier is saying that he would jump over to here, which is the corner of the technical school, and run sidewalk all the way down to here. Now, as far as our conversation to this point, would that be accurate as to where we are in the conversation?
Yes, sir. Plus, it's got to be finished, you know, I got to put dirt on both sides, and it's getting to be a tough time of year to, you know, I want to be able to do a good job and finish it up.
There are other sections. We'll be fully transparent here. Paul and David and I have discussed this, but we have a little bit of an issue with Coles right here. The sidewalk was not installed. This is, we'll say, ancient, before my time. I can't give you any information on why that sidewalk is not there. It is on the site development. But we had a productive meeting. We understand that the construction documents of Merchant Drive, the creation of this street, that sidewalks are on those construction documents. Now, if nothing ever happened out here, David and Paul would have to put in every bit of this sidewalk. We all kind of know this scenario I'm getting at. As developments come in, they sort of have to put these sidewalks in for certificate of occupancies. We all kind of understand that. Why this one is not there, I cannot attest to. However, we did discuss it's a little bit of an issue because you have Coles, but we have no sidewalk in front of it. So I will let
Yeah,
you
we
address
discussed
whatever
it.
you may have discussed.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yes, so down here, there is some development that is in the works. No
Yeah.
submission has been done, but it is in the works.
You know, I've got 2 contracts on that parcel right there, and one's real close to closing, so I was hoping they would do their own, you know, which they're supposed to do. But Kevin and I have been talking, I mean, we're bonded and everything, but they're sort of wanting to get this sewn up here in the city of Richmond, and so this is the plan that we want to do, because, you know, when I did it, concrete was about $60 a yard. Well, now it's about $170 a yard. I would have probably went ahead and done it then, you know.
So to sum up, maybe where we're at with needing a decision would be, one, if this body is comfortable, one, with his proposal on segmenting timely these pieces, moving forward to get this done. I think a time frame might be important to discuss so that we can have this sort of wrapped up and know what to expect as far as completion. Now, I know Paul's got some things on the back burner here with some contracts and some other things going on, so I don't want to speak for him on any timeline that is proposed, but if we can get any of that worked out, we would not then move to the enforcement mechanism. Mr. Fraser here is one of the few that has come forward. So we had a nice long meeting the other day, very productive meeting, and felt it best that we need to present this to you all in lieu of a decision because the letter of credit amounts are in jeopardy because they're overdue. So if we have an acceptable plan proposed by the developer, and you all are in agreement with that, with some, maybe some time frames and how this is going to be done, and you're okay with that, we would set possibly a time. Then at that time, we would expect those items to be complete. We would then surrender the letter of credit, and this would be
Can the time restrictions pertain to occupancy or, you know, once those businesses are built? Because to me, it's like, why build a sidewalk if there's nothing there?
Well, that's,
So,
you and I agree.
The issue of sidewalks is that you have pedestrian access. So we'll use both scenarios here. We'll use yours. If there's nothing there, why do you need a sidewalk? Well, the folks that occupy a business don't necessarily have to go out and use that sidewalk. It's the folks that are neighboring. It's the folks that are walking. It's the folks that are traversing to school or wherever. If they don't have a sidewalk, public infrastructure, to carry themselves on without getting into drive aisles and open lanes of traffic, that becomes
Okay.
somewhat of a risk.
okay,
So that is why public infrastructure also includes sidewalks.
okay.
And it's part of those construction documents at the get-go. It's just as businesses come in or houses being built, they sort of take that little portion away from having to be built from the developer.
Okay.
Now, residential subdivisions, there are a couple out there that are still lacking some pieces that we'll talk about later, which would be if you lived in a residential subdivision and there was a huge gap in the sidewalk,
Yeah,
now you can't traverse wherever it is that you may want to go.
all right.
That's why I'd like to try to do the one on the right-hand side and get it done first, because we can go all the way from 4 Mile, all the way through Merchant, and it'll all be tied together.
So the one where Domino's and development is there, my thought of it is, you know, just wait till they get done, because you're gonna have CKU or utilities anyway about where to move
On the
Yeah.
empty lots, yeah.
on the empty lots down on that right side right there. And while they're working on it, it would be kind of difficult to, because I'm be sure they'd be running over it and everything else down through there.
You wouldn't have to give a time factor though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but you know, once they get built or whatever, and then on the time factor on it, and then about the installation of
Well,
the,
that's why I'd like to work with Kevin, because, you know, they're code enforcement, and then he could see, hey, them guys aren't doing anything, or no, you know, this is what they're doing, and this is what they completed, and I don't know how else to do it. Because he's worked with us a long time, and he's never had to call us down on anything. I mean, we've done a lot of projects, but this one is a little different, and if we can get those, let Popeyes and them get done, and it'll be pretty clean on getting that tied up.
What kind of time frame are you talking about?
I would say, well, like, we can get started on the one up there between Toyota and the bank, you know, probably, depending on the weather, sometime in November. But now, Popeyes won't be done until, I'd say, Kevin, what, April?
Good gamble.
I mean, if you go out there and see everything they gotta do on the retention and everything they've gotta do, and the weather, of course, they're gonna hit the weather too, so, and April's not that far off. You know, so,
I tell you, I drive that road almost every day because I cut through the school from where I live. And just for information, there ain't anybody walking on that area right now. I mean, the subdivision, the apartments are way on down behind Miller
Right.
Tire, so nobody really is walking in that area. I would like to know the time frame, but I just, for right now, for safety purposes, there's not a lot of people. The school people are either getting on the bus and riding out of there or riding in their car. They're not walking down to the bank. People that pull into Toyota are in Toyota, people that pull into the bank are in the bank, people that go to those gas stations, they're pulling in, they're not walking to those, I mean, because I almost every day, I use that cut through by the bank, just to cut through to avoid the red light at 4 Mile. So the safety purposes, I'm gonna say that, there's just not a lot of people walking there right now. And I appreciate that he's come and trying to work, you know, the time frame is it. Obviously, you're gonna put in the sidewalks. I'm not a sidewalk person, okay, but like I say, safety-wise, there's not a lot of people walking there right now.
yeah, it would really help if we could let those restaurants get done.
Right.
And then all we gotta do is, when they get done, is tie that together. We'd have the right-hand side, and then we'd be working on the left-hand side.
Sure, and that's when people will use the sidewalks to get to the restaurants. So-
That's, yeah.
Sure. So,
And I'd work with Kevin's office, and, you know, I don't know really what else to do.
So what are you needing from us, Kevin, tonight?
I think he just wanted us, to explain what we were gonna do, yeah.
The plan of attack, I'm fine with. It makes sense with how this is laid out, how it's gonna be, what's going on currently. I think it just boils down to satisfying the overdue letter of credit. And if you could assign a comfortable date in conjunction with Mr. Frazier's timeline and your ability to be comfortable with that timeline, that's all we need.
And we're still bonded. I mean,
so would June be plenty of time, next June, or do you
June
want it
would
closer
be,
to?
should be getting in the neighborhood.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying if Kevin would say, look, them guys never worked, now that'd be an issue, you know. But if he says, no, they've been working with us, that's all I can ask for.
Well, why don't we just go with, if everybody accept, go with June?
Sure. Okay. So,
You got any question?
The deadline is to allow my department to not act on pulling a letter of credit. That's a situation nobody really wants, but when you have developers that are setting forward and representing themselves, trying to do something, I'm very willing to work with that as long as it's beneficial for both the city and the department.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be acceptable time, especially now since he's got his eye on you now, he knows what's to be done. But, yeah, I think, if June, or whatever.
Well, I mean, really and truly, they never came out and said, hey, I gotta have these sidewalks in.
Yeah.
It just came up about this bond, and they're sort of like, hey, it's time. So we're like, okay, we'll work with you. That's why I'm here, to explain what we're gonna do.
Okay. Anyone else got anything?
Make a motion.
Yeah. Nobody's got a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the Merchant Drive construction guarantee be completed by June of next year.
I second.
Okay. Commissioner Shu,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
yes.
Commissioner Miles,
Yes.
Commissioner Estelle.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, you all.
Thank you. Okay, the next item has been pulled. Number 6 would be amendment preliminary plat for Parkview Heights.
we have it, Kevin, on the?
They have it.
Oh, okay, okay.
You got it right here.
Commissioners, thank you again for letting me come and talk to you. I was here approximately a month ago. We discussed the elimination of a connecting road that would cross a blue line stream and not allow us basically to fix an eyesore, if you will, of an old farm pond at the very beginning of Park View. It's directly across from the driveway coming out of the park. Been working with Dwayne at Abacus. They have updated the plat to the specifications that we all agreed upon. So I'm just here tonight to try and ratify that. So Kevin, did I leave anything out?
No, again, he has deleted, I've reviewed this, it's actually fine now. This was turned in, I believe, Monday, Dwayne. But with all the final corrections, they've done all their due diligence as far as the plat goes. It does reflect everything that was discussed in the previous meeting. They've reconfigured some lot spacing. It's nothing major at all. The main thing here that constitutes the preliminary plat is the elimination of that connector road, which was tentatively approved based on presenting an amended preliminary plat, which you have in front of you tonight. With that being said, it's met everything that was discussed.
Okay, no questions? I get a motion.
I make a motion we accept this preliminary plat for Parkview Heights.
I'll second.
Commissioner Shue,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Miles,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller, or Commissioner Estelle, sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the October Glory Construction Guarantee. You got that?
I missed one.
Yeah, number 7.
Gray Oaks, I'm sorry, I marked that one out. Gray Oaks Phase 2 Construction Guarantee.
They do not have representation tonight. I, however, have opted to represent them based upon the receival of a letter. A lot of our letters that went out to seek restitution of letter credits, we've started getting some responses. This one is for Gray Oaks Phase 2, and that is Mr. Andrew Luxon. He is not in the state. However, I had a nice long conversation with him and also discussed my inspector's punch list. We discussed it in detail. I said, if you would provide me with a letter that states exactly what you're going to do and give me a timeline, I will present that to this body. He has done so. I have it in front of me. He basically is asking for the leniency of a completion date of September 26, 2024, that all items on the punch list will be complete. He has spelled those out correctly, and so
Mr. Kazi, that date's passed.
Yeah.
I think you mean a different date.
oh, I'm sorry, that was in response of the letter
Yeah.
said September 26, 2024. He's asking for 60 days.
Okay.
Okay.
So with 60 days, he assures me he'll probably be done most likely in 30 days or less. Most of these people will be trying to beat the weather with concrete, things of that nature. The items remaining out there, I believe, is just some crosswalk striping and some missing sidewalk connecting the subdivision. We're going to do away with construction entrance for those multifamily duplexes in the far back of Gray Oaks. We're going to clean that area up and stop all of the dumping that is happening there. Some of that is coming from somewhere out in the county. They're bringing it there and kind of making it look rough. We're going to address that with Mr. Luxon's permission. He's going to clean all that up, so. So with that, and if
Any more questions? I get a motion?
Make the motion that we accept 60-day provision for the completion of the Gray Oaks.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Shue,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Miles.
Yes.
Commissioner Estelle.
Yes. Now, October Glory Construction Guarantee.
Carbon copy in response to some of the letters we have sent out. I have gotten a email in writing, signed, and delivered by Mr. James Keaton representing October Glory off Building Way. He, much in the same way, we had a discussion. He lacks a couple sections of sidewalk, and I believe there is some outfalls that need to be cleaned out or heavily sedimented and things. Pretty simple things to do. He jumped on it quickly. He is asking for ironically, the identical situation. He would like to have 60 days. With respect to that 60 days, he feels he will be done, and he just requests 60 days because he's not in control of contractors, and he just wants to cushion that, make sure that he is not lying to anybody, and he assures me he will have that done most likely before 60 days, which would put us at that December the 16th deadline for 60 days. If you follow what I'm doing.
Okay. There's no other questions. Might I get a motion on that?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the October Glory construction guarantee and then the completion within 60 days.
Second.
Commissioner Shue,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Miles,
Yes.
Commissioner Estelle.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Kevin, how many more of these do we have?
New staff.
You're chopping, you're chopping down, huh?
Yes, we are. Very proud of my team. They each are playing their little part. I'd like to point out David Dodson, and specifically, he's dedicated himself to following up on all of my old punch lists. He's adopted those. He's went out. He's checked on every single one of these. He's done all the punch lists before we made any contact. He has checked with the banks, the lenders, the mortgage people. He has made contacts across the board. He's now my little golden boy for these items. And so when I ask for information, I go to him. He's the person now. But we are whittling them down. We have a few that have not responded. I asked him to provide me with just some quick information I will share with the group. Some that are sticking out there are Autumn Place and the Banyans, which Mr. Wilds, Mark Wilds, is in control of those. I will point out that I asked David to make just some quick notes on how long it's been since we have discussed and had conversation with Mr. Wilds. 12/27 of 2022, talked to him several times over the last 2 years. Was told the punch list would be completed by the end of 2023. That's for Autumn Place. The Banyans, of course, that was simultaneous conversation, the simultaneous answer. So we're at a point with South Point, that was Mr. Harold Bingham. I'm not 100% sure if Mr. Bingham is still with us. I dealt with him a long time ago. I think the major thing missing there is if you pull into South Point, I believe, is it South Point? I can't recall. Regardless, there's a huge business lot there on the left side, and there is no sidewalk there, so it sort of boils down to sidewalk again. It's not a big list. I did ask him to put some numbers on here. Autumn Place, $145,000. The Banyans, $275,000. South Point, $112,000. The Beginnings off of 4 Mile, which is in John DeVere's name, but that's at $272,000. And John DeVere, he says they do not have that project. So we're getting some of these responses. So these are some of the ones that are still lacking. What I'd like to bring up tonight is that we set a deadline in the letter that was sent out, basically demanding some type of response, or we would essentially have to act upon pulling the letter of credit or bond. That time has come and went. I believe we're a week or so or more beyond that deadline. So I would like to utilize this meeting to just discuss anybody that has not responded to us. In that letter, the last sentence in that letter was, you will then be subpoenaed if we don't have any information from you, no contact from you, or no willingness from you. We're at the point of subpoena. So with this body's permission, I would like to go ahead and move forward with the subpoena of the ones that we need to address. And then if they do not show up at the date of said subpoena, at that point, we would act on pulling the letter of credit.
You mentioned about DeVere said he no longer has that. Where you stand on that?
On
DeVere, on the Beginnings?
I almost hate to share too much information. A developer was building multiple subdivisions, and we have an ordinance that says, you can't start another one until you finish the one you got going on. So what had happened was that a transference of ownership went from that developer to Mr. John DeVere for, I believe, phase 3 of the Beginnings subdivision, which is most all the houses in the very back of it. David tells me that that punch list is not very aggressive. It's not that bad either. However, it appears that Mr. John DeVere says that he doesn't have any affiliation with that. But there are multiple John DeVere LLCs and things going along, so I would like to reserve the right to, I know John, reach out to John himself and see, is there a disconnect between an address of an LLC that the letter was sent to, or what the case is for the Beginnings. Now, before we get ramped up here, I will make final phone calls myself and have a discussion if they'll answer. If they don't answer, then the protocol I spelled out will be what will happen.
Okay. So you just want permission to go on to go forward with this?
Well, the permission and understanding, I think the understanding is more important. The letter has been sent. It states it. So I just want to bring it to this body that we're at this point. We got a lot of feedback from some that did not show up here tonight or be represented tonight. We have already been working with in the background because they came before that deadline. Persimmon Trace, Windcrest, all of those are actually being worked on and finished up. So we're at multiple stages in these letter of credit completions. We've got ones that jumped on the wagon. We've got ones that are a little late but have certain problems or forgot. And then we have some that we just don't get conversation from. So the ones that we are not in contact with will be the ones that we're going to make that one last push. If not, the letter sort of spells it out.
So you want us to subpoena the ones from whom you have heard nothing?
Well, would we need that, or do we have the ability to just do that? Just do it.
Okay. So
We
you
would
don't
not
need
need
us.
a motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I say
But
go
they are
after 'em.
getting wrapped up.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, go after them. I mean, that's just bad business.
Yeah, it's been all this long. I mean, they, nothing else to do but that.
Somebody's been sitting there since 2000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean,
and just,
Kevin's really done a good job trying to catch these up. I just, they need to be caught up.
Yep.
And we've not been abrasive. I think the most abrasive thing that has ever been done was the actual letter. What the letter said was probably the most abrasive thing. When we talk to these folks, we explain to them, not that thou shalt pay, it's here's why, this is the deadline, these are the ordinances, we explain it, we spell it out, we explain the construction documents and why this is part of the construction documents and that these quantities covered those items, and we're giving you a chance, or we've gave you several chances. But I think unfortunately it was time. You had to draw a line in the sand.
Okay.
The last thing, I know we discussed in our work session about the letter of credit, or not the letter of credit, the HOA ordeal and things. Now, I have not expanded on our coloring and things we did around the round table next door, but once I get something a little more presentable, I may reach out and see if you guys would like to have another work session to discuss that, because I think that's the most benefit to that scenario, to see where you'd like to go with that. But I'm leaning more toward an option 1, an option 2, not so much an option 2, but we can discuss all that. That's all I have.
Okay. I guess, would that take care of your other business?
Too much business to talk about in one sitting. But no, that's all I have.
Your director's report?
Nothing.
Nothing. Make a motion for adjournment?
I'll make it.
Second. Tired.
All in favor?
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I will. Will do.
I get it. Diplomatic, I've never seen it.